Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to BeSimply. This is a Soul, Silence, and Sound segment, and I'm Suzanne. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment, and I encourage you to fully welcome yourself to drop in. So today, in this moment, we're still having a lot of collective global transformation, metamorphosis, cliff jumping happening, which has created a lot of distress. And at the silver lining is humanity is rising. So I want to share, I've mentioned it before, and many people have circulated aspects of this prophecy out of Hopi. And there's multiple facets of it. But I want to speak to just one simple phrase that I've said, and I'll post here and there, is that in these times, our ninth hour, and that's what we're in, our ninth hour, it's the realization that we are the ones that we are waiting for. And sometimes, more than not, it's when we are met with adversity that spontaneously people come together and find solutions, and then even have the realization that they do not have to be dependent on a power dynamic. And when that happens, that gives everyone the inspiration to begin innovating and to find new solutions. So over the past 4 years, we've been seeing a lot of this, where there's been innovation, reconciliation, and over this past year, so many beautiful examples of what humanity does for each other. And so if everyone could give themselves a little pat on the back that's human and cares and has consciousness, and then step back and realize, like, wow, we have these capabilities, and we're seeing this time and time again, from Hawaii to Spain to the Philippines is great at it. They're so dynamic in motion, to the southeast quadrant of North America. We're seeing this realization that we can mobilize, not to cause harm, to help one another, to do right. And the powers that are going through and will continue to go through their own dark night of their journey in their eternal life, are realizing that they have lost control. And when that happens, when someone realizes that they no longer have status quo or control of their life from really a deep spiritual place, they realize that the inevitable is change. And that can be scary, because if someone's always known how to control something a certain way, they can double down, triple down, instead of bowing down, like, whoa, you know what? This is my moment that I need to bow down to myself, find humility, and really start to think about where one wants to stand. So the good news is all of humanity are humans. You are caring, compassionate, loving, kind beings. You have been manipulated by energies that have impacted you on a soul, physical, emotional, and mental level. And now it's your opportunity to continue to feel into those inspirations where you are ready to help humanity and not worried about the control mechanisms that were put in place to keep you in mental mind control, spiritual mind control, physical mind control, and emotional mind control. And what happens when we're inspired to be of service, we snap out of that mind control. We fully step into our consciousness and our care and our love for one another. And so if you're inspired right now to serve and be, there's people that drove from all over the world, drove from all over the US and flew from all over the world to help in the Northeast quadrant of North America with the still intense crisis that's happening there, in particular in Tennessee and North Carolina. And so in this moment, we're seeing that people just have a care. They care. And so that has nothing to do with bureaucracy and people that want to control you on the deepest fundamental level. It's showing you that we have this special secret sauce in each and every one of us to take right action. And so I want to encourage you right now, because in this past week, especially, I'm speaking from, my bum is seated here in North America, is that, and I'm in the wellness industry, and try to be a steward of service and kindness and compassion. There are a lot of people that are suffering. And this isn't anything new. It's been going on for almost a decade now. And where it's really blatant, where the global banter is like a 3 to a 10-year-old child. And so if you can right now, number one is to really take some time for yourself to really ground down into your heart center and your humanity. And then the second part of that is to go into a place of, where can I serve? What is my reach? And it's not really sharing a meme on social media or creating HAAT speech towards one thing or another, because within a spiritual practice, it's really ultimately ends up being non-dualistic. So if you're choosing a side, you are not in your spiritual practice. I don't care what faith you are. If you are dividing, you're not in a spiritual practice. And this is why faith can be very divisive and difficult. But the ultimate core of anyone's faith that does not cause harm is love, is kindness. And so when we go and meet each other person to person, we have the opportunity to be kind with one another, to care for one another. It's not about division. And as soon as we divide on anything, if we're not really willing to listen to one another, we're out of that divine energy. We're out of our spiritual practice, whatever it might be. And so there is this important rule, and I've shared it in different ways as metaphorically. If you are being impacted, meaning that you are feeling crisis based on what's happening in and around you, it's better for you to take safe ground. So it's the analogy of being a lifeguard, is like, it's better to have one victim go under versus two. So we always want to keep our awareness about us, and rather than having these divisive division between one another, is like, take safe ground if you need it. If you've lost your emotional affect, if your spiritual affect is completely gone, meaning that you don't know what the word love or kindness means, is completely gone, or is conditional, because that again is not a spiritual practice when our actions are tied to conditions. And so if those are completely gone, then you need to take safe havens so that you can really get regrounded in your inner core of ethics. And it's important to remember that each and every one of us is on this eternal journey, and our inner code of ethics is going to evolve, transform, and change consistently. For some, it may evolve many times over in this lifetime. For others, it may stay constant, and then they'll have a different shift for them in their future, wherever they may go. And once you start to understand that each person is ultimately doing the best they can, and then each person, including you and me, are being impacted by fields of energy that we are not completely privy to. It's the, Wizard of Oz movie. Remember they pulled back the curtain and Oz was back there moving the machine? It's like that. We're coming to that climactic moment where we have started to realize that we want to go home. We want to be just in our basic humanity with one another, yet that machine is ready to be powered down. And so how this relates to a spiritual practice, which is so helpful, is that when you make a daily commitment to be in silence and to listen, really deeply listen, and that's not listening for words, it's not, getting a download. It's like, it's a listening that's beyond all things, again, beyond duality. And when you get that information, it will not be something that you could draw a picture of or write down necessarily. It's a knowing. It's a knowing that all of a sudden you're like inspired that you got to go do this, that, or the other. That information that was transferred in that listening is actually helping you discern where to put your attention and where to go towards. Again, if you get too caught up in words and visions and all of that, you will get lost in this process. Hence why it's important to have a good guide when you are developing a meditation practice and a spiritual practice, even a prayer practice, to keep it honest and humble. So in this moment, if you are inspired to really start listening in your daily practice, hopefully you have at least a little bit of space for yourself just to be in silence, to listen and pray in your own way. That's unique to each and every one of you, what that means. But it is a tradition that's been held for billions of years on this earth plane. And don't get caught up that it has to be connected to a faith or theology, because those can be divisive too. And so from there, I encourage you to extend this active listening out into the physical world with one another. We are coming up to this point where our tantrums that we've been throwing as a 3-year-old and 11-year-old or 10-year-old we are ready to use our words. And so this will be very difficult for those that have been in quote unquote power positions, the controller positions, because people are ready to have conversations. Like yelling at someone without any substance is not a proper human way to communicate with one another. And it's actually shows a level of ignorance in that moment. We all have a bad day. We can all lose our temper or be stressed and have anxiety. But right now is really that opportunity to learn to have civil conversations and listen. So how you can help is by, when you go out into the physical world, is start listening. And if there's anything you don't know, you don't have to pretend that you know. You can leave that conversation and educate yourself further. There's a lot of things that people stand behind and protest and fight about that they have never even read up on. And why? Because they're giving sound bites and mind control back at you. It's like it's a real quick level of ignorance that's thrown back to shut someone down. And so right now is that moment to actively listen so that you know how to ask questions, where to ask questions, and how to have a civil conversation. It's okay not to agree. It's okay. It's beautiful. And I strongly recommend that you have people in your life that you don't agree with, because they will challenge you. They will invite you to think about things differently, as you will them. When we have a society that is all like the same, it's not helpful, because that's the beautiful thing about being a human, is we have this ability to see things differently and be inspired and innovate. And when we get beyond this moment of, being in really a controlled system into an open system that nature mirrors for us all around, all this imagination and creativity starts to happen. And those, unfortunately, that had the destiny and the path to control humanity probably are gonna, like, their jaw will be dropping many times over, because they'll be like, whoa, like, I had no idea that all these beings had so much capacity. And people get afraid. That's why people have that energy of envy. They don't want to see people thrive sometimes. And that's usually when people are stuck either in their dark aspect of self, or they might really be a sociopath or a psychopath, meaning that they don't really care. They don't care about you. Therefore, they have no incentive to do anything for you or to want you to be the best that you could be. So as you open yourself up to having civil conversations, these roads will separate, meaning that people that don't really care and want to control you will be on their own path. I've mentioned it before. They'll be in their Lord of the Flies moment, and it's not human to human. You're going to see some pretty interesting stuff because they can't help themselves. They don't have the capacity to care. And this is, again, that beautiful mechanism that can pull you out of trauma, can pull you out of having an emotional meltdown, is just to come into this place of listening and into this place of service. And then as soon as you do that, you start to gain perspective. You start to see things. Because if you are stressed, anxious, emoting, yelling, screaming, you cannot separate the forest from the trees, because you've lost your mind in that moment, and you got to bring it back down. So if you want to be aware and you espouse that you are a steward of faith or your spiritual practices, then it's this moment to learn to communicate and to learn to have emotional governance over what's happening. Your emotions are helpful to a point, but then they lead you to inspiration and innovation and mastery. They're not meant to cause chaos and harm to one another. So from there, as you start to access within your being, your inner intelligence, you will start to realize that this isn't and doesn't have to be a dualistic push-pull over and over again. It's really about standing up in right action and honoring right action that you feel so clearly inside. That's why some people can lie and other people's can't. They have something they've realized on a soul level that they just can't do that. Or there's people that are on the spectrum of that. And there's some people that don't have any consciousness around that. They don't realize what the effect of that is ultimately. And so that's just one example that we will all have different codes of ethics that have been evolved to a certain point. But the deeper that you deepen with yourself, the deeper you go with yourself in this process, you will become less and less dualistic. You will become a better listener. You will become really a better mentor and teacher to your community around you. And right now, rather than being on, a tug of war with your fellow citizens, I really encourage you to bring your kindness, your love, your ability to serve to each and every moment for yourself and others. And at any moment where you might feel that you're not safe, that's where you want to pull yourself in, give yourself a little bit to retreat till you can have a very powerful communication and exchange with whoever you choose. And as we go into this process, you will start to see the solutions. As I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, is that what we're seeing in this prophecy in the 9th hour, we're realizing that we have the capacity in an instant, without an organization, just human to human to self-organize and provide in an instant. We didn't need a bunch of overlords watching over and telling us what we can and can't do. I mean, honestly, if they were smart, they would just zip it and go away. Like, it's pretty interesting. Like, they can't get it through their head. And again, that's why we'll see the division coming up, and that's part of the prophecy. It's already been happening, but is that they don't have the capacity. And that means that there is an aspect for them in this lifetime not to have the ability to care, meaning that puts them into a sociopathic or a psychopathic capacity. And so it's better just to stay away from people like that. You don't need to poke them. You're better to stay away. And if you need to hold them accountable, hold them accountable. And that if they're in your company or on your board of directors, fire them, get rid of them, because that isn't going to create a healthy society. And then we can offer them a place to rehabilitate. It may or may not be in their deck of cards in this lifetime. And so for each and every one of you, you can do your part by taking the space for yourself, really listening and seeing how you can practice non-duality, in the sense not that you're going to turn your head and not look at something, but in the sense that it gives you the lens that you can see all sides, because that's really how karma, cause and effect, anything can liberate and find a solution and not be repeated over and over, is by when we can all look at all sides within our own lives and our circumstances in and around us, that we can be like, all right, I get it. I don't want to perpetuate that. So I'm not going to participate anymore in that. And each person that makes those little shifts, micro shifts in their life, it starts to shift the whole. You know, the saying of, you vote with your dollars, you vote with where you spend. You're going to vote also with consciousness by adhering to your inner ethics, adhering to your ability to share love, and in a moment's notice, self-organize with yourself and others for the highest outcome, the best outcome. So this is an exciting moment. You are all having this realization on different levels. And if possible, where possible, extend that olive branch out to one another. And remember, we are created to be of service to one another. Your innate gifts have a purpose to assist yourself and others in and around the community you live in. So reach there, help there, get yourself square, get your family square, get your community square. And I mean square, it's a building term. It's like you want your studs to be square when you're building the building. You don't want leaning walls or floors. It creates a much more sound structure, especially for down the road. So as inspired, just take a moment to really be over these next few weeks, or week before we get to the full moon, but I would say through the rest of this lunar cycle, and allow yourself to really ground into where your soul has brought you to and where you're ready to serve. So with that being said, I want to welcome each and every one of you, just to let that all wash away and to rise up into a seated position. And as you do, lift that spine all the way up, 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 and then drop the shoulders down. Relax. And then gently from there, especially if you have a busy mind, I want you to have open eyes, gaze at a focal point, and just observe that point, soft gaze, and your breath to keep your attention. If any thoughts come in at any time, you don't have to wrestle with them. Just allow them to move on through or be there with you. It's okay. Just refocus your attention towards the focal point and your breath. gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center. Gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. One more inhale. And exhale. Good. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I just want to welcome you to just allow that all to wash over you. And if you have the space, maybe just write down a few things that came to you and date stamp them. And then as inspired, as you move forward, to assist you in retaining your awareness, really dive into where you care. Surround yourself around people that care. You don't all have to care about the same thing, but that care. And as inspired in silence and in active fashion, listen. Listen on the inside and the outside. And then from there, start to serve. We are the ones we've been waiting for. You all are doing so beautiful and have the capacity to self-organize and organize in a moment's notice. Keep extending those olive branches out to one another. And as the roads continue to separate, stay in your heart and listen deeply. I want to thank Random Rab, Dante Marino, and Kadri Scott for your contributions. I want to thank all of you for listening in this moment, creating the space for yourself and for reflection. And we're going to exit out with little Kadri Scott. With that being said, this is Suzanne signing out with full heart, a soft gaze, a gentle bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
The way your eyes feel on me makes me feel alright. And the way your mind dreams for me grabs me and holds me tight. So we dance along makes me feel